I hope this old truck starts so well that you guys don't even believe me that I bought it in non-running condition and for the price that I bought it for, which as of now I've decided not to disclose in case I decide to sell this truck. But you guys know me, I like to sell things at market value pretty much for the most part. And if I were to sell this today, I would more than double my money. So I'll let you just kind of speculate on what I might have bought in this 2000 7.3 liter diesel for in non-running condition. Now also, if you watched my last video, you know that the salesman that sold this to me, he didn't work for the company, but he told me it probably just needed new batteries. They had recently drove it from Colorado to their location in Billings where they parked it, and it sat for like 4 or 5 months, and they decided to sell it. Went to turn it on. Absolutely nothing happened whatsoever. So to start my troubleshooting process, I hooked it up to 2 battery chargers on full boost, putting over 28 volts into the system, or 28 volts into the system, and it didn't do anything. Obviously, the batteries have to have some capability of holding a charge to get a truck like this to run. So I have now spent over $400 in batteries, and I just put them in. I got 2 O'Reilly Startup Extremes or whatever they call them, and they're in the truck. Now I briefly turned the key. I didn't crank anything whatsoever. I want that to be on camera first. I turned the key to see how much fuel was in the tank, because while it sat in their construction yard, some idiot pulled the fuel cap off of this, probably to use it in another truck, and for all I know, it could be half full of water at this point. I did look under the truck. I don't think it's the original tank, because there's a big 98 written on the tank, and this is a 2000. So I don't know. I'm guessing that this truck has been used and abused for a lot of years. It's got 256,000 miles on it, but supposedly the motor has only 80,000 on it, or 80,000 since its last rebuild, which if you have to rebuild a 7.3 at 180,000 miles, probably wasn't the best taken care of. But I did pull the dipstick and check the coolant, which I will do on camera for you guys right now. Everything looks really good. We're ready to try to start this truck up. And like I said, I hope it starts so well that you guys aren't even going to believe me that I bought it in non-running condition. So diesel doesn't go bad like gas does. So I might just fill the tank or dump that power service into the tank that's supposed to remove water and slime and gunk from the tank. I don't know how it does it. It has like laser beams or something and disintegrates it. But I might put just the power service in it. And then I brought 4.5 gallons of good diesel, of good winterized winter green diesel to put in this to see if that'll help. If I can get it running, it sounds like the block heater works. Supposedly the glow plugs might not. So I have starting fluid, which, disclaimer, you should never use starting fluid on a diesel, especially if the glow plugs are working. Now, if the glow plugs are not working, then sometimes that's your only way to kickstart this thing into actually running. Now, if your glow plugs are working and you use starting fluid, you run the risk of pre-detonation and you will burn your glow plugs out. So do not use starting fluid with working glow plugs. I actually have 8 new glow plugs for this diesel. So if these don't work, it's going to be a bummer. But I will be replacing glow plugs on the channel. So big red buttons down below so that you don't miss out on any of that. I've dreamed of owning a 7.3 liter forever, and they are not getting any younger, and they're getting harder and harder to find with low miles. This one is not a low mileage example or a clean example, but it's my first experience with the 7.3 diesel, and I'm super excited to have it. And I really hope that it gets running, because it, with all of its dents and dings and bruises, it'll still make a really good work truck. So let's go pull the dipstick, look at the coolant, look at the fuel, and then try to run this truck. But this is the engine oil dipstick, and it's somewhat dark. It's going to be really hard for you guys to see. It's somewhat dark, but it's not black, and it's like a really good consistency. And it also smells okay. It smells like good oil. Now, if you were to buy a brand new diesel pickup and run it its full oil change, you go 7,000 miles, the oil that you drain from that truck is going to be blacker than black, because that's just how diesels run. So looking at this oil, I mean, it's like impossible to tell, but I'm thinking that this oil probably only has like 1,000 or 1,500 miles on it, which is fine, I guess, to run the truck. I may change it, I may not. I probably will honestly still change it. Now, these motors are a pain in the butt to change because they take 15 quarts of oil, so it's a very expensive oil change, but it's a diesel, so we'll run probably like 5,000 mile intervals on it. Which, like I said, it's super hard to tell if this oil is actually good, but the thing you want to look for, especially on these 7.3s, is if that oil is milky or frothy or just like a really light brown and runny color and runny consistency, because that could tell me that it's spun a bearing or it has a bad head gasket or something like that. So that looks like it's in really good shape. And if I open the coolant reservoir here now, it should not be under pressure. When I opened it earlier, it had a little bit of a whoosh noise, which could indicate maybe a bad head gasket or something like that, but I don't think that's the case with this truck at all. If we do get it running, I'm going to run it long enough to know that it overheats or not. This coolant looks like it's in really good condition. Alright, got the battery charger on boost. We'll supposedly let these glow plugs and the fuel pump run for a minute. Best case scenario is that this truck just hasn't ran in like a year, and so it's its first like hard start. Then after that it works perfectly, but I kind of doubt that's going to be the case, and I think we are going to throw glow plugs in it, which I already have glow plugs for it, but we'll let them run just a second here, and then we'll try cranking it. I did pull the fuel bowl. I think I got that on video. There's fuel up there, so it's just having a hard time getting heat in them cylinders to start. All right, here we go. Not overall a bad truck. I hope we can get her started, though. I just want to see if it runs before I throw glow plugs in it. Oh, RIP to the poor starter. That's all I've got to say. We'll try one more time here. There's a lot of exhaust coming out the back of the truck. If all else fails, I really hope it's just a relay or a controller, but I don't think that's the case, because yesterday we were spraying some of that starting fluid in the intake and it would backfire, which you should only do while you are cranking the truck and if your glow plugs are burnt out. And clearly they're not all burnt out. Oh man, she wants to go. Oh, so close. These 7.3s are funny because you can be cranking and cranking and cranking, and then just randomly they'll start. I'm actually going to connect my test light up, maybe here to the positive side, and then we'll see if it works. Golly geez, this one might be burnt out too. I had one earlier that was burnt out. Oh no, I am getting a light. It's really dim, but I'm getting a light. Actually swapped that to the negative because I'm going to touch it to the positive here on the glow plug relay, which I have power to the relay, Now if I stick the light on this side, you'll see I do not have power because the key is not on. So when I turn the key on, if this thing lights up, then we have a good glow plug relay, and we need to be checking the under valve cover harness instead. If there's no power here, then we probably have a bad controller, or something in between the controller and there, or a sensor or something that's not reading right. So let's go turn the key and see if this lights up. No, it does light up. I don't know if you can see it because my light's so dim, but it does light up, which means this is a good relay, the controller's good, and the glow plugs are getting juice, or at least down to the harness. So we know that this relay is good, and our test would move on to the glow plug under valve cover harness. There could be anything from the wiring from this relay to the harness messed up. The harness itself could not be grounded properly or messed up, or the glow plugs could be burnt out. Now you can test that by either ohming out the harness, or you could take your test light here and switch it off the negative to the positive side, since we'll be touching a ground with it on the harness. And then we could touch each pin that the glow plugs are associated with. If you get a light, that glow plug is still good and the harness is working. Now if you do not get a light, either the harness is not grounded properly, or something's messed up with it, or the glow plug itself is burnt out. It's not typical that all 4 glow plugs are going to be burnt out at the same time, but it could happen. So if none of them light up on any of those 4 pins, then you should probably buy a new harness as well as new glow plugs, since you'll be in there anyways. Now I don't know if any of that made sense. If not, I'm going to link below in the description a video to somebody that actually shows you how to test this and does a very good job explaining it. There you have it. I'm not going to get this engine cold started no matter what I do, especially not out here in Wyoming while it is still warm in January at 10 degrees outside. It's just not going to cold start, especially not with any glow plugs working whatsoever. So I'm going to have to throw glow plugs in this before we can get her running, but I still am pretty happy about my purchase and my project. I think this engine sounds okay. It's going to run pretty smooth if we can ever get her going. I have obviously a turbo boost solenoid coming for it, and I have new glow plugs. I just don't want to freeze my fingers off trying to get them put in, but that'll be for another day and another video. So stay tuned to the channel, hit the big red button below if you have not already, because I've got some things planned here for Nate's Trucks. I debated for a little while whether or not I actually wanted to continue this channel, but over the last month my subscriber count has more than doubled and I haven't even posted a video. So thank you so much to you guys that are subscribed to the channel, because you make content like this possible, or you make me want to keep posting it and putting it out there. But if you do need more content, I have another YouTube channel linked down in the description, so go follow me on there as well. I hope you're excited for 2022. I know that I am. It's going to bring some unique challenges, but also some unique things here onto the channel. With all of that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.
One's a company, two's a crowd, three's a party, come move around like fresh